Hey folks, Dino here again. And yeah, against my better judgment, I did actually buy them. Yes, this is the ENC Kaioken Goku, ENC version 3A, I believe it is. I do have both of them, yes, before people ask. I've got the standard one, which is right in front of you, and the Super Saiyan Blue one, which will be coming next. And oh boy, where to even begin with this guy? Like, honestly, the only reason I have these is because I got them at quite a large discount. Like, I'll say it right off the bat, it was because of the AliExpress sales. That is the only reason you're seeing these right now. Especially this one. I had absolutely no intention of purchasing this version before the AliExpress sale came in, and I managed to get this guy for a tenner. So, go me. That being said, links will be in the description if you wish to purchase this one or the other one. Obvious answer being I don't really recommend them, but I can see why some people would want them for like customs kit bashes and so forth. But yeah, in terms of this figure, this is, I believe, ENC's first foray into the action figure third-party game. And unlike the WoW Super Action Studio Kaioken Gokus, this one actually shows that it's a new one. Like, honestly, I'm not sure what ENC were thinking with this. I really don't. This one and the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken, they're essentially just kit bashes. Like, I don't think a single part in this set originated from ENC. I think they have just recast pretty much everything. Like, we've got everything in here. We've got the legendary Super Saiyan body, the official one. We have Demoniacal Fitz Martialist Forever head, modified to use legendary Super Saiyan faces that for some reason just don't look right. Like, honestly. We also have HMYR's soft rubber overlays for the torsos. We have the Black Hole Toys Windswept Super Saiyan hair from their Ultra Instinct Goku sets. And we even have, and I only realised this because this is in the box, we have the extension peg to make him look a little less rotund, shall we say, at the torso. That is why the belt is not fitting properly. So we've got that included. The only thing that could possibly be new for ENC is this, which is actually really nice, and we'll go into more depth later with it. But yeah, without further ado, let's get him off the turntable and take a look at the box. So, in terms of boxes, it actually comes with a brown shipper, which all of ENC's products so far have, which is really, really nice to see. ENC, for those of you who are not aware, they're responsible for the clone of the Yardrat torso kit for Goku. They have also released a couple of other things as well. One being like a Kaioken Goku and Vegeta recast of Recustoms version. Those two heads, which absolutely will not fit on this body. I'm not even attempting to try it. Like, the legendary Super Saiyan body is way too bulky for that. But yeah, I think they've maybe done something else, but I can't put my finger on it at the moment. If it comes to me, I will let you know. But yeah, it's nice that they have always came with shipper boxes. As for the box itself, pretty standard. We have a picture of Namek Kaioken Goku here, which, quite frankly, I think is how this figure is going to end up. I'll be putting the rubber overlay from Air on this guy to differentiate him from WoW Super Action Studios version. So yeah, we've got the EC logo up top, ENC 03A, choking hazard, small parts, yada yada yada, 03A again, and that is your whack. Very simple box, very standard, does the job of getting here in one piece, so I will give them that. Let's move on to the accessories. So, in terms of what comes with him in the package, there's actually a decent spread here. I gotta give them props for that. So we have 2 hairs here. One of them, let's be frank, is completely unusable. The standard demoniacal fit style here, it's not very good. It's not been casted well. The demoniacal fit head itself was never the best mold, so God knows why they picked that. The Black Hole Toys Windswept hair that they've used here is actually really nice. I have tested the faces on them and it actually looks really nice. I will give them props for that. We have 2 of the rubber overlay pieces that was originally created by Air. We have the full upper torso with a small rip at the side, and the half one which has obviously been ripped in half. We also have the belt that goes with it, which is quite nice. Personally, I think I'll be pinching this belt tassel piece and putting it on the WoW Super Action Studio one, because that just comes with a reuse of the standard 2.0 Goku belt. And we have the sort of socking Vegeta and jaw effect piece, which I will give them props for. This is a really nice effect piece. It is better than what WoW Super Action Studio did, and yes, I will be comparing WoW Super Action Studio a lot to this release in particular, purely because they're meant to be the same figure, the same version of the character. So yeah, if I sound overly critical, that's probably because I am. But yeah, I have to give them props for that. That is a nice effect, and it fits on the hand fairly well. We have the standard waist piece, which you can pop back in. That is one thing I do like that they've done. If this is the standard piece and not the extension piece, I'll be swapping this in to that body, just so I can have that connector piece for the upcoming what's it called? The sort of reissue of the Legendary Super Saiyan Goku. Best Selection, that's what it is. Yeah, just so I can extend the waist on that guy. We have 5 faces, which I'll be honest, for the most part look a bit rough, especially that one. But yeah, we have Stern, Smirk, teeth gritted with a nice little sort of bead of sweat going down his cheek, which is quite nice. Shows he's struggling. Yelling face, which is kind of rough, and proper Legendary Super Saiyan Goku yelling face, which, yeah, this was bad on the Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, so God knows why we've got it here. Honestly. But yeah, just to show you how some of these faces actually look, yeah, not great, especially due to the fact that the eye decals seem to have been applied incorrectly. They are bleeding onto the eyebrows, so yeah, that's fun. It's also quite strange, like the plastic on these faces feels hard, but at the same time it's rubbery, so not sure what's going on there. Smirk, again, looking a bit rough. The only face here that's probably useful at all is this one, and even then it's a little bit rough at the mouth. But yeah, I think this one looks the best, easily, out of the lot of them. And the normal yelling face is, again, the eye decals have been applied incorrectly, so it looks a bit off. I am not entirely sure where this sculpt has actually come from, to be honest with you. This definitely did not originate as a legendary Super Saiyan head. So, yeah, we will see. And finally, the comically open mouth yelling face, which, yeah, not a fan of, strangely enough. Finally, we have 4 sets of hands, pair of fists, pair of splayed open Ki Blast hands, pair of grippy Kamehameha style hands, and a pair of martial arts posey hands. Why on God's earth, ENC, are we making the faces of soft plastic, but these hard as bricks? Like, could we not have swapped the plastics about? We don't need these to be soft. We need these to be soft, so that the wrist pegs don't break. My God. But yeah, that is everything that comes with him. So let's get the camera positioned back up again and take a look at the figure now. So, as always, let's see how the faces and such go on. So yeah, this bizarre recast of the demoniacal faces and head, sorry. All you do is, these are indeed recasts of legendary Super Saiyan Goku. So those just slot in. I will give them props. The faces slot in really well. It's just that the hair on the front here is way too thick. Like, they have clearly just copied the mold using the original hair, and it's not come out well at all. You'd maybe force the hair down a little to make it look better, but normally he looks like emo Goku. Like, the bangs are going right across his face. You cannot see his eyes facing on. That's so bad. So yeah, we will not be putting this face back on. We will be putting this one on. So yeah, props to them again. They have modified this. They've made it better than Black Hole Toys. Black Hole Toys was just using 2 small pegs to put the front bangs on. So again, that just pops in like so. And yeah, like I said before, that looks actually really decent. Unfortunately, we don't have any eyes facing the direction of the windswept, but we will work with it. Something I also want to bring attention to quickly before we put the head on. You know how the faces, or the heads, sorry, all looked really long in the promotional shots and things like that? That's because for some bizarre reason they have extended the neck peg. Like, I could see the force of it if you were reusing the actual legendary Super Saiyan heads, ENC. that peg would have came in very handy for that, but you didn't. You used different heads, so there was absolutely no need for the extension. So yeah, I think I'll be popping this out and putting it again on the best selection head when that releases, just to give that a better design. This is one issue I'm gonna mention once we get to the articulation section. Those ankle joints. But yeah, popping the head on is fairly simple. Just pops in like that. And yeah, the windswept hair actually looks much better on the body than the standard head does. The neck does not look way too big. The windswept hair, though, is now too big for my camera, so bear with me 2 seconds till I adjust. There we go, that'll do. And popping the wrists on is a bit of a chore, not gonna lie. Not so bad putting them back on, actually, but yeah, the hands are made of a very hard plastic, so be very careful with those wrist pegs, especially with how the overall figure is feeling. Speaking of which, since we now have the figure altogether. Yeah, there's altogether a feeling of like cheapness to the figure, mostly in how the upper torso looks, but also in some of the joints. Like there's a lot of tolerance issues here. I mean, there's a lot of wobbling at the feet, like so, and then there's a bit too tight at the shoulders. Like, quality control was definitely not thought of when ENC came up with this figure, put it that way. But yeah, it's unfortunate because they could have been on to a banger of a figure here. It's just all the little things let it down time and again. But yeah, thankfully they didn't skimp out on like the soft goods or the soft rubbery parts. The waist is still soft, as is the ab section here. This floats about like no one's business because they already have the extension in there. That does not work out too well, to be honest with you. But yeah, it's bizarre. Like, another thing that they kind of overlooked is the fact that the gi parts, they have sprayed it really nicely with like this sort of highlight, the faint white to it, which really makes it look nice. But then all the skin tone parts, they just left blank. Like, there is absolutely nothing on there. There's not even a hint of shading. If they would have given that a bit of a red spray, like in the shadowed parts, I think it would look really nice. I really do. But they didn't do it. They didn't do that. They didn't even spray it with a sort of metallic finish. So, yeah, it kind of looks more like the original 1.0 Kaioken Goku in design aesthetics. But yeah, overall, the design section leaves a bit to be desired. Before we go on to articulation, let's say, well, in fact, we'll do articulation first because I want to show you how it looks before we put on the rubber overlays, because that will inevitably hinder that. So yeah, articulation, he looks up actually really well. The bottom of his neck though does show a bit of a gap right there, so you have to be careful. Nice pivot side to side. Like I showed, it is just a 3.0 peg, just elongated, so it does do everything that it should. The neck does move, all that jazz. Arms can go up that far. We get, well, I was going to say swivel, but that has just popped out. There we go. Can I get a full swivel without popping out? I cannot. There's another QC issue. Yay. So you should be able to get a full swivel. I'm going to do the other side because that's annoying. Oh my god. I'm going to scream. Get in there. Okay, so shoulders, iffy at best. Oh my god. I cannot show. There we go. The butterfly is good when you can get it to work, but those shoulders. Oh my god. So bicep rotation right there. Double joint at the elbows. Ball hinge at the wrist. Abs can go back serious amount, but you do get a lot of gaps. Can go forward fairly well also. Some nice pivot, swivel, all the rest of it. Yeah, that's annoying as anything. He can do the splits. Just have to make sure the waist is out of the way. Yeah, you can do them. You can indeed do them. Swivel. I was going to say swivel at the thigh, but Oh my god. Is that glued? Oh, that's either really stuck and we'll need some silicone oil, or it's just straight up glued in place. Does it work on this side? Yeah, thigh rotation works on that side, just not this one. Oh, this is going well. Double joint at the knee. Speaking of, the legs can kick up very well because of the soft rubbery piece there. I'm actually losing my trail of thought because of all the issues here. No boot rotation. The ankle is literally hanging there by a thread, even though it pops in fairly well. Like, yeah, that's barely working there at all. But you do get some pivot forward, move it back, you get some backwards, toe articulation, and ankle pivot is actually pretty decent because it's literally the legendary Super Saiyan ankles. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, overall articulation is legendary Super Saiyan, but if Vietnam was having an off day, if the Vietnam factory was having a very off day. But yeah, let's try and put these overlays on, shall we? I'm going to regret trying to do this on camera, aren't I? Pop all that apart. Get rid of this standard one here. Bring in the Air version. You could just keep the other one on if you so choose, but I am using all the parts here at my disposal. We will leave the lower half off just now. I mean, I can see why they made this easy to pop off for these parts here, because if I remember correctly, people were saying doing it on the official was an absolute nightmare. So yeah, make sure all that is in place. And the easier of the two is the slight ripped, which, I mean, it doesn't really work when you think about it. Goku never had his outfit like this when he was Kaioken, even on Namek. But what you could do is turn this into a manga style Goku, like a 3.0 style. Oh my god, I forgot a piece. the piece was on there, it fell off. Put this bit together. Hope it stays on for the duration. Come on. Don't all start popping apart now. There we go. That's easier. Do it that way. There we go. And yeah, thankfully the extra pieces do seem to keep everything together a bit more. Although yeah, the ab crunch is a bit hindered with this sort of thing. Can I get that to pop in fully? I'm not even hearing a pop anymore. There we go. So ab crunch is kind of limited with this on, which I'm not surprised about. Is butterfly. It was already difficult enough to get a butterfly on this guy, but yeah, butterfly is kind of hindered with this kit on. But overall, it looks pretty decent. Like I was saying, you could, if you get a white Super Saiyan head, turn this into like a 3.0 manga style Goku, because the colours do actually match really well. And yeah, that does actually make him look a bit better, gotta be honest. Let's try the difficult one though. I've heard horror stories of the original version of this. Oh my god, the bicep just came off now. I'm going to end up throwing this in the bin. I'm being overly dramatic. Hopefully it's not that bad. So, once you have all those pieces off, I suppose you just shove it all through the top, like so. The reason I left this one to last is because I am planning on just leaving this on, to be completely honest with you. So here we go. It's all in place. Let's try and pop this back in without having an aneurysm. Come on. I physically can't pop this in. The rubber pieces there. 2 seconds, folks. And there we go. Literally 20 minutes later, I kid you not, we have the finished Goku with the torso on. And yeah, he's looking a bit bulky, isn't he? Yeah, that's another reason I never quite liked this rubber overlay for the torso. Although seeing the ripped one on and knowing that as a recast coming out that's very soft, I might end up getting it for my best selection Goku. We will see. But yeah, suffice to say, with this overlay on, the torso is completely useless. Like, I just popped that arm back off. Here we go. Yeah, articulation is pretty much useless with this piece on. So you're literally putting this on to put on display forever. Like, don't expect to ever use this in any sort of playability sense. It's just not going to happen. It really isn't. So yeah, finally, let's get into comparisons here, shall we? Before I literally break down. This is the first of 4 reviews I'm having to do. Oh boy. Right, so we've got this guy. Comparing him to Demoniacal Fit's clone of the standard 2.0 Kaioken Goku. And I will say he looks good next to this guy. The colours are a bit more brownish here as opposed to the sort of maroon of the dark colours that this guy has. But I still think he looks really good. I really like him with the overlay on, surprisingly enough. Even though it destroys his articulation. And finally, the main comparison with WoW Super Action Studio. We'll get this guy out of the way because we really don't need him in frame now. So yeah, these two. If you're wanting a Saiyan Saga Kaioken Goku, there's no competition. It's this guy all the way. Like, there is no chance I would ever pick another. But yeah. In terms of like overall build, obviously this guy is just a straight up reuse of the legendary Super Saiyan mold, whereas this one, they have pretty much took the legendary Super Saiyan mold and redone it from the ground up, including the lower half. Can I pop this off without it ripping? Yes, I can. There we go. Will this pop in on camera? I don't think it will, because it looks like a different sized hole. I didn't think this through. I didn't think that through. I'll do it off camera. So yeah, that won't work straight off the bat. In terms of head swaps though, that is one thing I am really interested in, because WoW Super Action Studio came with this alternate head, and while this one is decent, it's nowhere near as good as the faces that WoW Super Action use. So let's see. Those pop in just fine. And wouldn't you have it, the bigger faces on the WoW Super Action Studio actually complement the size of this body, because they're meant to. Yeah, that actually looks really good. The skin tone is slightly off because WoW Super Action Studio went with a more orangey colour for the Kaioken, because it's based on the manga. Whereas this one has an obvious red hue to it. What about the Windswept? That is not going on without a fight, but fight it I will. And yeah, there we go. It does indeed fit. So yeah, if I combo that with this effect piece right here, which literally just slots onto the arm, or it should, like so. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, that works. That works really well, actually. Obviously, the windswept hair that comes with this guy is going a completely different direction. So, even though this effect is meant for this side, you would really need to use it on that side to get the benefit of it. But yeah, turns out the heads are indeed compatible, with a little bit of brute force, that is. So yeah, just for giggles, does this fit on here? It does, but no. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. Let's see how this daft hair looks. That's no. That head is going in the bin. Or it may as well be. But yeah, guys. Overall, I mean, it's... I'm trying to say anything positive about this guy. It comes with a lot of stuff. Put it that way. It comes with a lot of stuff. But yeah, unfortunately, the concept was there for ENC. It's just between all of the corners that they've cut to get to this point, merged with the fact that it's not very good QC wise. It's kind of created a perfect storm of meh, if that's even something I can say about it. But yeah, overall, it needed to be cheaper. Like, the standard price with this was around about 30 odd quid, and with how this figure feels in hand, I don't even think that was a good price. Like, I really don't. And I don't know where ENC got off trying to give us an aura effect for 20 quid extra. Like, no, I'm not paying that. I'm sorry. So yeah, unfortunately, it's gonna be a hard pass from me. If you want a Kaioken Goku on your shelf, this is definitely the figure to go for. It has its issues, but WoW Super Action Studio put a lot more effort into theirs than ENC did, and that is disappointing to me. It really is. So yeah, guys, as I said before, link is in the description if for whatever reason you wish to purchase this guy. So let me know what you think down in the comments below. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.